It was a fun time to be in an industry that was thriving, which today is, pretty much getting to be road dust. But that's life. Talk to the people that are working for newspapers today. Podcasts are today's radio shows from way back when. And actually, many of them are better. YouTube, that's how I'm watching today. There's two guys I watch all the time.
And that's the voice of our guest, Artie Breyfogle. His website is facebook.com/TV Fats. That's facebook.com/TV Fats.
But one quick story about Walter Alston. That's a buddy. We were at Cleveland High. That's where I grew up. Then I went to high school in Reseda, California. So we go, and one of our guys, Mike Presta, was good friends with Ron Peronowski. Got to meet him, and then if he was ever on a street corner, Peronowski would pick him up and take him to the game. And he would he'd go to the clubhouse. He'd let him, he got really involved and was able to walk around the guts of Dodger Stadium because of the sitting with Peronowski out in the bullpen. I mean, who gets to do that? But he did. So for some reason, Peronowski just took a hankering. And Mike was an Italian guy, real mouthy. So we're all together, and some of these convertibles, like 5 of us. They were so cheap they wouldn't pay for parking. So we would go right by the old police academy there and park there's the city park, and then walk in, like 2 hours before the game. So we're walking in. The actual parking had just started, and the guys were walking through said, "Don't jump on that line thing there. It'll count as a thing, and you have to pay for the parking." Presta runs up. What does he do? He jumps on it. Guy grabs him and he says, "Give me my money." "I'm not giving you. Give me my money." So finally he has to perk up like $5 or $2, whatever the hell it was. And we go, "He told you not to do it, Mike, you stupid idiot." So what we would do, we would go to the 99 cents or $1 to sit in the bleachers out in the back. I thought they were the best seats anyway. You could see the pitch coming through and everything else. And we'd sit out there, and around the 4th inning, we'd all roam back to the top of behind Dodger Stadium, and everyone would be leaving. Mayor Yorty would come out, and we'd go, "Do you have your stubs, please?" And we'd take the stubs, go in, and we were in the 3rd row for the rest of the game. And we did that all the time. So we were in there one night, and it was a night game, and it was like a really long extra innings. And at the end, if you remember as a kid, you'd sit there. The kids would always pop the paper cups, stomp on them, and it would echo. And you'd hear that over and over. It sounded like gunshots almost. There were so many of them. And they turned certain lights out in the field, and there was just a few left on. And Mike goes, "You guys want to go to the clubhouse? You want to go to the press level?" I go, "Let's go to the press level." So we go up there, and he goes, "There's Vin's place. I didn't do it. There was this paper. It was just going to be thrown away." Vin Scully had Alan Roth was a statistician, and he supplied all the stuff for Vin to talk about, wrote it down, all the stats and everything. Sat right by him. He heard Jerry Doggett when they were doing the radio, and everything was there for that game. And I didn't take it like an idiot. So we're leaving, and like so say anybody in the stadium, and this big burly thing comes towards us. It looks like a bear. And it's got this coat, and it's this guy with this coat over his shoulders, smoking this huge cigar. Comes up, and it's friggin' Walter O'Malley that owns the club, guy that brought it out from Brooklyn. What does Mike do? Mike Presta runs out there and goes, "You owe me $5. And he doesn't stop walking. O'Malley just keeps walking towards the elevator. And he's going, "You owe me $5. And he told him what he did, and he goes, "You're an idiot, kid." So gets to the elevator, and we're sitting there going, "Oh, my God." We thought he was going to throw us in jail or whatever. The elevator door closes. All of a sudden, the elevator door opens. He goes, "Here, don't be an idiot next time." Gave him $5, and the door closed again. I'm going to forget that. You know how the Dodgers got their name? Most people don't know.
Yeah, the Brooklyn fans used to dodge trolley cars to get to Ebbets Field.
Well, you're one of the few that knows that, my man.
It's funny. I'll got to tell you a funny story. I went to San Diego about 15 years ago. We were in the kind of area where you stood alone at the Western Mail Supply Company building, and this Padres employee taunts us Dodger fans. Is like, "Bet y'all don't know what a Dodger is." And I said, "Yeah, they used to dodge trolley cars to get to Ebbets Field." And my friend Dre says, "He's right. The customer's always right. We could report you to your supervisor." And it just basically shut the guy down.
It's great. I love it. The guy should have been a radio. All the rest of us. So anyway, that was a long, strung out career. Never made tons and tons of money. Did okay over the years, but enjoyed. It's a case where you enjoyed going to work and enjoying what you were doing. And I look back on it and I go, I did literally nothing in this world. But then again, when you look, you met a lot of people. You turned around and helped all these people truly believed in their businesses. I deal with ad agencies, but they always put me on local accounts because I was good with them. Go in and, wine, dine them, become friends with so many and became lifelong friends. And would sit there and try to help their business grow with selling radio or cable advertising or broadcast advertising, ABC, whatever it was. And that, to me, I think is probably something you can't buy. That there's no building I built, there's no mountain I climbed, but I know deep down that I helped a lot of people over the years. Sure, they paid for my services, but many of them would have stopped if it wasn't working out for them. Obviously, it did work. And, that gives you deep down some form of satisfaction on what I did, because think about it. You're in radio. You're selling hot air. There ain't nothing there. You can't see it. You can't taste it. All you can do is hear it. And if you've done it creatively, you'll draw people in. If you fulfill that need, wants, and desires what the advertiser is. God, I sound like I should sell radio advertising. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Artie, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Oh, I think just my dad. Just be honest. Don't tell lies. Work, as hard as you can, but be honest. Honesty is the best roadmap to get you where you need to go, I think. And we've all known people that aren't, and we've known the people that are, and none of us are perfect. I mean, God, the mistakes I've made over the years from bonehead stuff. And I'm lucky I never got arrested driving drunk all those years. It just, that combined with just being, as I said, I started delivering newspapers at 10 years old. I had the largest route in the Valley for the Valley News and Green Feed, 4 days a week. Go down, and every month I'd lay down like $9 on my Dial Finance bill and bought my Schwinn, Newsboy special with a big spring in front. And I retired at 12 at the newspapers when most kids were starting. I was a big kid. I regret maybe that I didn't get into acting, professionally. A lot of people at that thing out there, Cal State Northridge, Dreyfus went out there. A lot of other people were out there over the years. I did meet a bunch of people. They had people they bring in for seminars or, put us in the theater and they talk to us, and all different kinds of folks. And I think probably the one that hit me the most, and I didn't realize at the time how special he was Mel Blanc. It was right after the accident and where he almost died. They did a lot of the Flintstones shows from his bed at his house. The whole cast would come out there and they'd record the segments. In those days, they did them all live together like a radio show, not like today where, Mike Tyson Mysteries, Tyson does his lines here in Vegas and sends them in,
Oh, yeah.
But, that was really cool when you look back at all that Mel Blanc really did in the world, starting a little kid from a small town in Oregon, getting into doing the Looney Tunes, how he got into that. And just, of course, Benny for years. Seaside Sue is the best comedy bit ever on radio. Aside from Benny going down the alley, and he always would set it up. Gee, it's really quiet here. I'm in this alley. There's nobody here. I'm all by myself. There's no lights. And I don't know if this is really the right place for me to be. Hey! And it was like Sheldon Leonard with the deep voice, Hey! Stop! Yeah, what do you need? He said, give me your money or your life. And there would be 2 minutes of laughs because Benny's character had set it all up that he was the cheapest guy in the world, which we talked about earlier. He wasn't. He was just the opposite.
I'm thinking it over.
They'd milk it again for another minute. They get 3 minutes of laughs out that one woman. I wish I'd been around the old days when Conrad and all those guys were doing radio. I listen now to Johnny Dollar, all that kind of stuff. It still takes you away in the car. You listen, radio is magical, and it's just pretty much dead. It's sad. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, there was a show called Hollywood 360. I don't know if it's aired in Vegas or not, but it's a radio show that plays classic radio programs from the Archies to Fibber, McGee and Molly to Duffy's Tavern to the Jack Benny program, Burns and Allen, Sam Spade Detective Agency with Howard Duff.
That's all radio classics on Sirius XM. Yeah, I know them all, of course.
Yeah, in fact, I work with
Johnny Dollar. You know.
In fact, one of the our head of sales at the radio station I work for is Bob Hastings Jr., whose dad was
Bob Hastings was a child actor. He got into radio in New York. He did X-1, all that kind of stuff back there. Then he went and did a bunch of movies, and of course, everybody remembers him as the second banana in the Cales Navy.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah.
Anything else you want to know?
You might know more about Bob Hastings than his own son does.
No, tell me about Junior. What kind of guy was Junior?
Yeah, Junior worked in radio, and he's been working in radio for many years. He worked for CBS Sales for CBS National Radio for many years. He had the Radio Bob seminars for many years as well to help other salespeople, be effective in advertising on radio. And so he's been doing that for probably close to 50 years now. And
wow.
He's
Is he still doing it?
Yeah, Bob Jr. is still doing. He's about 74 years old now.
Good for him,
and,
man.
Yeah, he's a good guy. And I never got to meet his dad, but he's told me plenty of stories about him. And there's a book called Relax, Archie, Relax by Hal Stone, who is the voice of Jughead. And so Bob knew Jughead in his adulthood and stuff. It was really neat. It told a lot of stories about the Archie's comics themselves.
Yep. Yeah. Radio. Imagine, Conrad never left the CBS KNX studios there. I mean, he'd go down the hall and do Gunsmoke. He'd go down there and he'd do, some other show. He worked all the time. There was a group of those people, B. Benaderet and all those people that that's what they did. They just went from place to place to place. They used Howard McNear. Mm-hmm. I have a great T-shirt. Howard McNear, most people, if I mention the name, you would know who the hell he was. He was Floyd the Barber in the Andy Griffith Show. And Howard had a stroke, and they didn't want to throw him off the show, but he couldn't stand for a long time. So Andy came up with the idea, and if you look at the later years, Howard was always sitting in the barber chair talking to him because of the stroke. And they took him on the good side where his face didn't droop or anything. And Howard was the doc in the old Gunsmoke and did a zillion things. So anyway, I got a picture of Howard McNear and on the bottom, and it's the black, and his picture's in pink on this T-shirt, and below it says Pink Floyd. Get it? Floyd the Barber, Pink Floyd. And no one gets it. I walk around town, and they just, okay. The only better T-shirt I got, and I had it for years, and I saw a remake of it, and I got it. It's this picture of this lady, like you ran into her with all the makeup in the world, and she ran into your T-shirt, and it all got on your T-shirt. And it says at the top, guess who I ran into today shopping, Tammy Faye Baker. I love that T-shirt. And nobody gets that one either.
It's funny because I remember there was a game show years ago called Rodeo Drive, and they had a category section of the show.
Wasn't that on the Game Show Network or something?
It was on Lifetime. It was hosted by
it was
Louise
like cheesy cable thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so Fact or Rumor, and Tammy Faye Baker sleeps with her makeup on. It's a fact. You're right. It is a fact.
Well, Jim Baker. Yeah, I still like him occasionally. He's still alive in his 80s, pitching survival food and all that other stuff. And he has a little thing in the mountains above someplace in Kentucky or whatever the hell it is. And but what a sales guy! I mean, he blew it by once again being a liar and a cheat. Once I talk about you can't do that. If he played it straight, he'd still be with us, and it would be huge. But they were people that going back. The people were relating to people. I mean, why did Carson work? Why did we had certain Benny work and all these people? Why did Tammy Faye and Jim work? Off camera, they were creeps and cretins and whatever, but you believed in them when you watched them. Eyeball to eyeball, there they are. Oh yeah, there's Jim.
Oh yeah, I mean, the thing is that they even made fun of like preachers on TV in movies. I remember the Paul Hogan movie, Almost an Angel, where they had this, guy who kind of looked like a cross between Jerry Falwell and Jimmy Swaggart going, I need your money.
Well, like Emery, the guy that was the DI in 2001, they made him into that creature, and it was great. He did wonderful in the role in the Chevy Chase movie. Remember when he was
That's
the
right,
Private Eye?
yeah. Oh, that was a
Yeah.
that was a
And it
really
was
good one
supposed to be
too.
like PTL behind there was taking over, but there was oil on the land. Remember the script and all of it? Yeah.
That was
Emery's a great story. You know the story about him. He was a real DI.
That's right.
And they had hired a guy, and the guy they hired, they ended up keeping him in the movie in a small role. He was the one in the helicopter that said, sometimes you just got to lead him. Remember when he was shooting the people from the helicopter and the rice paddies? He was the guy they had shot about a third of the scenes. And Kubrick said, this ain't working. And the technical advisor was Emery. He said, let me do it. He went and ad-libbed the entire scene, that one scene where he walks up and down. They took it as actually a screen test, but did it, and it was in the movie. I mean, he was phenomenal because that was him. And then, of course, he went on and acted, and he was just a natural actor for one of those gifted guys. And I love stories like that,
Oh, yeah, I mean, kind
radio,
of like,
TV, Hollywood is just,
because they have other, like, for instance, Ferris Bueller's Day Off was a movie I loved, and the scene where Ben Stein was in, they said, just teach a class like you'd normally teach it. And he just went on, and it was perfect.
Bueller.
I thought, oh, is this guy putting this on? Then sure enough, I saw him on other TV shows. That's really his voice. Oh, my goodness, that makes it even more hilarious.
Well, remember, he was a man show. That's how it started. He was the guy on that, Yeah, and of course, he was a writer on the side. He just did that on the side. It's part of his gig. It's just so many great stories over the years. It was a fun time to be in an industry that was thriving, which today is, pretty much getting to be road dust. But that's life. Talk to the people that are working for newspapers today. Today podcasts are today's radio shows from way back when. And actually, many of them are better. YouTube, that's how I'm watching today. There are two guys I watch all the time, Kurt Kaz and Harold Baldar, that go around the world with a cheap little camera, but they go out and meet people. And they take you not to the tourist places; they take you to the dumps. They take you to the barrios, and they lay out history of the places they're doing it, so it becomes deeply entertaining, and you get hooked on them. And I even watch people that play slot machines every day. Believe that or not, Vegas Matt and people like that. Living up here, we like to gamble. That's part of the reason you like living in Las Vegas, aside from great weather. Coming up, no state property tax in Nevada. Battle born, baby. Battle born. That's our state motto.
It's interesting you mention that because they say when it comes to cuisine from different parts of the country that you go visit, don't go to the touristy places. Like, for instance, when I went to Philadelphia, I confess I went to Pat's King of Steaks because that's, the place you go.
Those are the two you never go to.
Yeah, exactly.
Because for the locals there on the big bus, everybody had 20 other places to go to.
Next time I'm going to the places other people recommended to me, I should have listened to beforehand, but hindsight 2020. They said to me, Tony Luke's is the best. Another one said Steve's Prince of Steaks. Do you have anything favorite as far as Philly is concerned?
No, I've never been to Philadelphia. I'd love to, I love watching the Food Network. I remember I was blown away. My kid's 53, 6'6.5", born here in Vegas. Took him when he was 3 months old to Fresno, California. He's never left. But the divorce, I pulled out of there after 18 years. I'm in round 3 now. I've been with her 22 years. The bottom line is that I just love food shows because, once again, it's people. You watch them cooking. And I've learned a lot. I've become a very good cook. I'm maybe not a chef, but I mean, I cook everything in the house, and I enjoy doing it. It's very relaxing, and I'm not into mother food. I don't make, meatloafs and all that stuff, but it's just... It's one day out of the blue, my kid goes, well, I go, you watch the Food Network? He goes, Dad, I watch it all the time. Are you crazy? I said, wow. I am getting old, and
We're talking with Artie Breyfogle. Next time, we'll find out what he likes to cook, as well as some other stories from Century Cable in Southern California.